In this lesson, we're going to talk about risk documentation, including the risk register, vendor lock-in, and data portability. Risk documentation is an essential aspect of managing risk in cloud computing. It involves documenting the risk identified in the risk assessment, the impact analysis, and the associated costs for mitigating the risk. Risk documentation may outline who is responsible for the project, why risk management is being undertaken, and the plans for reviewing the documentation regularly. The risk assessment results in a risk register, which is used to track, identify risk, and mitigation efforts. The risk register is a document that can look like a table, a spreadsheet, or even just a bunch of details written down on a notebook. The whole idea is to capture any identified risk early to help map the overall risk mitigation process. This risk register is shared at a high level in the organization among key stakeholders, and new items may be added to it whenever you find it necessary. This risk register plays an essential role in managing risk in cloud computing because it helps ensure that all risks are identified and tracked and that appropriate mitigation strategies are put in place. By keeping the risk register up to date and regularly reviewing it, businesses can manage risk effectively and ensure a safer and healthier work environment for all. Next, we have vendor lock-in. Vendor lock-in is a significant risk in cloud computing that businesses need to be aware of. It occurs when a business is dependent on a cloud service provider and its proprietary services, making it difficult to migrate to a different cloud platform. This risk can have a negative effect on cost management and freedom normally offered by cloud subscription services. While vendor lock-in is not necessarily bad, it could be abused, and businesses need to be cautious. Vendor lock-in may occur when a cloud service provider provides a unique and proprietary service that may benefit an organization. The cloud market is highly competitive, and service providers are constantly looking for new ways to attract customers. However, businesses should ensure that they have an exit strategy in place to mitigate the risk of vendor lock-in. One approach to avoiding vendor lock-in is to use open source software that allows for easy migration to other service providers. Another approach is to choose a cloud service provider that uses open standards, making it easier to transfer data and applications to a different cloud service provider. Businesses should negotiate contracts with cloud service providers that have an exit clause, allowing them to terminate the contract if the cloud service provider fails to meet their needs. And finally, we have data portability. Data portability is the ability to transfer data between two cloud providers. If data is held in a proprietary format, portability may be very difficult. This is a risk that must be managed when choosing a cloud service provider. Businesses should ensure that they choose a cloud service provider that uses open standards, making data portability easier. It is also a good idea to have a plan for leaving a cloud service provider in case you need to move your data elsewhere. Data portability is essential because it allows businesses to switch cloud service providers easily without losing their data or applications. It also allows them to move data between different applications or software platforms, improving flexibility and reducing the risk of vendor lock-in. So remember that managing risk in cloud computing requires a systematic approach that involves risk assessment, documentation, and a risk register. Businesses also need to be aware of the risk of vendor lock-in and data portability and take appropriate measures to mitigate them. By following these best practices, businesses can ensure that they manage risk effectively and maintain a safe and secure cloud environment.